Hey guys, what's going on? I want to welcome you to the first episode of the Mercop and Moose Show. I'm Mercop.
I'm Moose.
Guys, we're going to talk about a couple things today. First thing we want to do is talk about the tragedy in Orlando. Our hearts and prayers go out to everybody affected by that. Not only the dead, the victims, also the first responders and all our families and loved ones. First thing, we're looking from a little bit of a different angle. We realize a lot of talking heads, of course, are talking about gun control. Well, all you really need to know about how MCS feels about gun control is that we believe that every American citizen not only has the right, but also the responsibility to be suitably armed at all times, according to the manner in which they wish to do that. So, first thing I'm going to do, talk to Moose. Moose actually just moved up here from Florida, up here in lovely southern central PA, and he spent a lot of time down in Florida working in nightclubs down there. What's the lay of the land down there as far as club security, Moose?
Well, overall, I mean, it's kind of like a free-for-all. However, most nightclubs have been going to the unarmed security officers and hiring them to manage their property, basically. And what happens is you'll hire a Joe Schmo that knows nothing, and you'll come in and basically get a whole bunch of fights and BS going on because they don't know the job. So they went with the D unarmed guys, which is Florida's unarmed security license, basically. And they bring them in. They're basically supplied from an agency who has managed their insurance and all that good stuff. So the club has nothing to do with it. Basically, they pay the agency pays them, and that's that. So they go in, you got X amount of people set up inside, and under Florida law with your D license, you're restricted on a lot of what you can do. You can't lay hands on people. So a lot of that is actually mitigated from state law. So by the nightclub themselves taking that responsibility off themselves and giving it to an agency, it's a lot less BS they have to go through. So that's not all clubs, though. I have no idea what Pulse had. I have no idea how many people they had inside working. You really don't hear much about that in the news. So that's the kind of thing that we're trying to look at now as far as other clubs and what they should be doing. For active shooter situations, Florida also has a G license, which is the armed part of security. Now, I know to get a G, you need to have a D, et cetera, et cetera. So there's X amount of training that goes on from an armed standpoint, as well as the use of force continuum and all other good jazz. If Pulse had an armed officer on site, not just police officer, you being retired PD, you understand that as a police officer, you're not really there to engage and do all those things with a club or any kind of establishment. So have an armed security officer there. They could have mitigated a lot of that because an officer can't go inside a club. If a G officer is employed by that particular facility, they have maneuverability to go in, out, about, around. Not to mention, I don't know what what that particular detail officer's duties were, but they don't really patrol. So you have an armed officer on site from said agency, you set mandates, they need to patrol X, Y, and Z time. So now you have a patrolling officer that walks around the club, polices the parking lot, make sure no cars are being broken into, make sure that all the personnel there are safe. Now, if you have an issue inside that your bouncers can't handle, and you need a more dominant force to escalate that situation, they can go in, they can communicate and assist you in bringing that person out. Now, once they get involved from that standpoint, that officer has the potential or duty to where he can detain you with handcuffs if needed. And then from that point, well, you go to jail. So he can escort you to that police officer waiting outside and take care of that problem.
Okay, so I spent a fair amount of time bouncing at the Auto Bar down in Baltimore, and typical Baltimore police is they actually, they do bar checks. They'll come in and see what's going on. That doesn't happen in Florida.
Not necessarily. Most of the establishments I've worked at that have police details, the officer does not go inside. If they can avoid it, by all means, they don't want to go inside. One, it's too much BS going on because, one, you have to defend your gun. Too much bumping around, too much this, too much that. There was a time I worked with a police department, and they'd go around the backside, go to the bathroom to avoid walking straight through the club. A lot of management staff don't want that also because, there's the stigma of, oh my God, the police are here.
Right.
So they're going for business. So that actually worked out in that particular sense. But no, it's not something that they want. They don't hire you. Oh, well, yeah, come walk through our club and go to the restroom. Come do this, come do that. No, it's not something that they do. There's no mandate there for that at all.
I'll tell you, that's really a big difference from up here, I'll say the Upper East Coast, because not so much the police hanging out, but the police will stop in, talk to the bouncers, usually have a pretty good rapport with them. So, again, that's interesting. By the way, if anybody knows what kind of security staff they had, or if they employed in-house bouncers, or if they had outside security contractors, we'd like to know, because we're bouncers, and, that's kind of the business that we're in. So let's just ask this question. So everybody's thumping in the club. Everybody's grinding, doing their own thing, drinking, having a good time. One gunshot's heard inside the club. What should happen?
First off, lights go on. Everyone needs to assess the situation. Whatever your bouncing staff or security staff, whatever you have, they need to understand how to maneuver large groups of people and do it in a safe manner. Obviously, they didn't have that. So any kind of situation goes on, say you have a fight going on. Light goes on, address the situation, take them out. There was one establishment I worked with in Central Florida. We had, it was an upstairs, downstairs, and we had one guy upstairs that had a spotlight. So he has a bird's eye view of everything. So the guys on the ground, they'll know once that spotlight goes on, whoever, then that's where the problem is. So it's isolated. Some people may not want to turn the light on, disrupt the whole flow of the nightclub, whatever the case may be. So spotlight might be a good idea. The DJ is normally always at a high point. So you can always place someone at that high point where the DJ is, who can see and overlook the land, basically. Spotlight, whatever the problem is, your bouncers come in, boom, situation is addressed, done. Simple as that.
Okay, guys, first of all, there's a lot of people out there, and I know idiots out there saying, they deserved it, gay this, gay that. If that's your opinion, you're an asshole, and I hope that you get what's coming to you. What we do, when we talk about, mindset, we don't write ourselves out of situations, we write ourselves into situations. So for whatever reason, you typically wouldn't find us unless we were getting paid good money to be there. You wouldn't find Moose or I in a club. But if I am in a club, 300 people in there, when I walk in the door, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify an exit that is different from the one that I came in. Because what happens is when people start freaking out and an emergency happens, they're going to go to the exit that they came in, and that's how people get trampled, and that's how you're not able to get out, and you die usually in a fire, in this case, an active shooter. So that's the first thing you want to do, and you want to make sure that you've identified that exit as soon as you walk in. If at all possible, if you frequent the club, you want to identify that exit and also where it goes to, and it's not a bad idea to try to park your vehicle around where it goes to. I mean, that's common sense. After that, no matter how you got in the situation, you're in there, either you get shot or somebody you're with gets shot, or a stranger gets shot, and you want to do the right thing and you want to try to protect them. You got a gunshot wound. How do you manage that? A lot of people that are looking at this video carry guns every day, but have no idea how to deal with a gunshot wound, which is absolutely idiotic. All right, that's why we teach traumatic injury management. So you got to know how to, stop bleeding, treat for shock, all that kind of good stuff. And you're probably not going to have your trauma kit on you in the bar, so you're going to have to make do. A little first aid would go for a long time in keeping yourself and somebody else alive. All right. So we're looking for more information coming out, exactly what happened, the tactics of the shooter, and we won't even name him because he doesn't deserve that amount of respect. And we'll be talking more about that in the upcoming shows.
Well, before
I'm sorry, go ahead, Moose.
I'm actually interested to hear how many bouncing staff they had inside. I heard one story, not sure if this is true or not, obviously because of social media, etc., that one bouncer kicked a hole in a door or something to that effect and started escorting people out and got a large number of people out. I don't know if that was true or not, but that goes back to preventative measures. The nightclub's not there for you. They're there to make money off of you. So you go in thinking, oh, yeah, this is a great, safe place. They have security personnel. Everything's great. No, not really. They're not there for that.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but you cannot carry, even if you're licensed, a firearm in that club scenario.
No, I forgot the exact percentage, but basically it breaks down like this. You can carry in a restaurant that serves alcohol, but you can't sit at a bar.
Okay.
you cannot carry in a bar because they make X amount of percentages off of alcohol sales.
Okay.
So I forgot what the percentage is, kind of rusty. Not to mention I don't live there anymore, so I really
Right.
don't care. But you can't do it. Now, unless you're G licensed, arm, etc., and you're working that, then that's one thing. But as a regular citizen, your CCW means nothing in a bar establishment. I myself don't frequent bars, nightclubs,
Specifically for that reason.
Exactly. I don't go anywhere I can't carry.
Right.
And you've seen that as much as we travel now.
Right.
If I can't carry, well, he can carry. Okay, cool. I'll go. No problem. That's just me. I go to a restaurant. I'll sit in a booth. I'll sit at a table, and I'll try to avoid the bar at all costs. I'll drink at a booth, drink at a table, no problem. There's no legal ramifications for that except your own moral discomfort, et cetera, et cetera. But there's no law that exists that says you can't do that. So you go to this nightclub, you're out there hanging out, you tell yourself something happens, the bouncers will take care of me. It's not what they're really there for.
Right.
They're there to protect the interest of the establishment. They're not there to protect you as a whole. You get popped in the face, all right, cool, you and the aggravator, you gotta leave. That's it, done. Why? Because I never discriminated. I don't care who started it, you both leave. Why? Because if I don't throw you out, then he's going to get mad. So why not remove you both?
You're protecting them against, theft and damage to property,
etc. And if you're not spending money, then why are you there to have fun in my nightclub? That's how bar managers and bartenders and everybody else look at it. Well, we're here in the business of making money, meaning I'm really not going to put that much money into my bouncing staff and get them squared away trained. Their awareness level is down, especially if you hire any Joe Schmo.
Right.
Now, 90% of Florida D-licensed schools, they're not 100% by way of their training in squaring people away, but there are some legit solid schools that really give you solid information that you need that can actually get you somewhere. Not all of them. So you don't know what you're getting either way. It's up to you to really figure that part out when you're looking to hire somebody. But these nightclubs don't do any of the above. They hire whoever they find. Oh, this is my buddy Jim. I know him from here and here. He works out with me. Things like that. You get a lot of hotheads. You get a lot of people that are in there all swollen, popped up on pills, and they want to fight. They want altercations. That's what they're there for. So it's up to you. I mean, you as a patron to know where you're going, and the bar staff and management to really figure out, well, how do you want to go about helping and basically having a secure environment for your people to party in, basically. Those are the two main things.
Right. And I think the other thing is that we can't forget it was a gay and lesbian nightclub, from all accounts, and probably not every bouncer would be the best choice for working the door. So I'm thinking, if they had any regulars that did have the license, they may end up working there. I mean, that's kind of like a novelty thing. Just like we probably wouldn't really do real well working at a bar in Chinatown.
No, that probably wouldn't work.
Right. Let's be realistic about it. So let's try to find out more of that, guys. And again, if you know anything about what happened there, you know anything about the bouncer security plan, anything, any past incidents that happened, we would love to know about it. Just leave it in the comments. One last thing we want to share with you before we tie up the first episode is here. Just in a couple days, a lot of things have happened for monitoring combative systems. The biggest thing we want to announce is our partnership with Fitness 1440 in York, Pennsylvania. They're located at 3629 East Market Street in York. We're going to be using space right there. When they open up, the grand opening is going to be in July. We'll be starting our classes there, and eventually we're going to build our own spot there, and we're going to have our first fixed training location. And all the things that you've seen me train and do all over the country, we're going to be bringing right there. The only thing we're not going to be doing there is live firearms training, but we are looking for a place to partner with that to make that happen. There'll be a lot going on. So what you want to do is you can follow us. The easiest way to keep up what we're doing is text Mercop to 22828, and that'll register for our mailing list. You can see what's going on and keep up with us, guys. If you want to see us discuss something, anything related to personal preparedness or protection, or anything else you see in the news, we'll be happy to do it. What we want you to do, we want you to go out there, seek competent training, not just in trigger pulling. Go get your Red Cross certification. Go learn how to use an AED. Go learn to drive better. Whatever it is, you can always train your awareness skills every day. Moose?
Follow us. Let us know what you want to see. It's going to be a lot of shit talking, and if you make it to any of our courses, you get to see me beat up on this little tiny white guy.
It's not happening.
So, I mean,
That's a hate crime, man.
That's besides the point. I mean,
Anyway,
when do your guys get to see you get beat up?
he does not talk this shit when we're not in front of a camera. I'm just telling you right now. Anyway, guys, don't believe the shit that he's trying to use. A shit salesman giving away free samples. We'll talk to you guys later.